All right, everybody, welcome to Life with Anita. Today we are going to be interviewing Michaelia Nobles. We are going to talk about her book, just her career, what it feels like for her to be a new author. And I want you guys to listen in and get to know her. She's really an amazing person, an amazing energy. And we became authors at the same time, and we have now become amazing friends. So it's been a great sisterhood that we are building as us both getting through our trauma, our pain, and just really encouraging each other on this process. So I'm going to bring Michaelia Nobles on, and we are going to talk to her about everything Michaelia and her amazing book coming out November 15th, 2024. Hi, Miss Nobles. How are you, author
Hi.
Nobles?
Hi, Author Anita. How are you?
I am good. So, how has it been? Now, word on the street is that you are a new author. You have
Oh,
an
yeah.
amazing book. Would you like to tell the viewers what the name of your book is?
Hi, you guys. As previously introduced, I am Michaelia Nobles, author of Pain Raised Me But Trauma Healed Me. Pain Raised Me But Trauma Healed Me is a book inspired by my life, everything I've went through by overcoming trauma and overcoming past hurt and pain. And in a book, I want to zone in on women understanding that no matter what you face in your past, it doesn't have to define your future and it doesn't have to write your future. God has does everything for a reason and everything he does works together for the good. So no matter what you go through, don't let your past hold you back and don't let your past hold your future.
Now, Michaela, on your journey of you becoming an author, what would you say to those who feel like they have a story to tell, but they are not sure if they are able to put it in the form of a book? What kind of advice would you give to those people who want to become an author, but they just have that one little hurdle of wondering if they have the power to actually write it out and tell their story?
I would say write it out because we overcome by our testimonies. So when we overcome by our testimony is our power. It's just to show a testament of what God has brought you through. I understand, like when me being going on the author journey, I wasn't really 100% sure at first because I was just like having to go back and relive some of the things you experience. But it's been a very therapeutic journey for me because I've been able to not only heal more, but I'll also be able to see how far God has brought me from. But if you are just an author and you just don't know, you definitely have the power to do it because God has given you strength to make it this far. So why you use what he has given you, use your testimony because what you do, what you're saying, what you went through can touch somebody else's life. And that's all it's about is just being the light and being the vessel. So you do use your voice. Your voice is your power. Write it out. If you can't write it in a book, turn it into a podcast or turn it into a blog. Do use that. That's your voice. Use your voice. Don't let nobody, not even the enemy, try to tell you that you can't write. I thought the same thing. I couldn't write, but look at me now. I'm an author. Got a book coming out November 15th. Let's say you got to tune all that out. You got to have a deaf ear. You cannot listen to no negativity and nothing around you. Use your voice.
Thank you. And now I understand that you entered a competition, which kind of led to you becoming an author. So, what made you enter the pitch competition for you to pitch your idea about your book? What inspired you to do that?
So when it came to the pitch competition, what inspired me to do it is because I always wanted to be an author. Now it's also on my vision board. Like this is a true story. I tell everybody. I said literally 20. I said on my vision board it says become an author on there. So literally that was on my vision board, and I just knew I always wanted. I've always been have like a passion to speak, a passion to tell other people what I've been through. And when it came to being an author, I just didn't know how that was gonna come. I didn't know how that blessing was gonna get. I don't know how I was gonna get there, but I knew I was gonna get there.
Mhm.
But when I heard about the pitch competition, shout out to Miss Stephanie emceed it for the pitch competition. Literally, yes, literally. When I seen Miss Stephanie post about the competition, I was just like, I think I'm gonna do it. But then I also had doubts because I was just like, I had been working on Pain Raised Me but Trauma Healed Me for like a little over a year before I even got into the competition. I got the title of the book this year, early this year, but I've been working on it. So I was just like, okay, with me, and I had a lot of other ideas I wanted to do, but the Lord dropped in my spirit, like, that's the book that you need to go with. And I was just like, okay. So going through the pitch competition, prepared for the pitch, that was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. Because I was just like, this is my first actual competition that I've done besides, sports and stuff. But like, this is the first something like I'm actually like gotta do and sign up for. So it was definitely a traumatic, not traumatic, but like, how can I put it into words? It was an exciting but scary experience at the same time, because part of me was like, I'm excited because this could be like my my thing coming true, like my prayer being answered. I said, but the other part was like, oh, what if I don't win and everything? I said, even if you don't win, you got the experience. And I had to try to talk to myself like that, because I was going into it thinking I was gonna lose. It's not, I couldn't do that. I could go in there with a defeated mindset. I had to go in there thinking like, it's a possibility that you may win, it's a possibility you may lose, but however, let God's will be done. So preparing for the pitch was like, okay, how can I take what I want to do and put it in 250 words? Because it was going over 250 words. I was like, how can I shorten this? And then we had a great pitch coach that helped us throughout the process. And, I took some things, I took what she told me to do. I wrote, rearranged it, and I literally just studied it. And the day of the pitch, I feel like I did an okay job, because I was nervous. I was definitely nervous when I did it. I was definitely nervous. And I had prayed and everything, and I was so nervous.
He was like, Lord, let me get through this, Lord. I got
Let me get through it. Let me get through it, God. Literally. I mean, but when I faced it and I went through it, was the most one of the most empowering things I've ever done, because I was able to voice what I was saying. And I was like, I believe what I was saying. And that's the thing about it, was you have to believe in yourself, rather than like everybody believe in you, but you got to believe in yourself. Because what if people don't believe in you? You got to have that motivation within yourself. So that's the thing. And when I finally like stop trying to like worry about what I wrote and just going off of what was in my spirit, it just came over. And I was just like, it was the most empowerment thing, because I wasn't relying on my strength. I was relying on God's strength to get me through it. Because like I said, I was extremely nervous. But like when I got to it, and then when I got to the end, and when they announced the winner and the score I had, I was just like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I definitely cried. I definitely cried, because it was just like a joyful moment. But ever since I won the pitch competition, I know it's like, this is my time. Now is the time for me to voice what I've been through. Now is the time for me to share my journey with others. Now is the time, because I have my own timing. We all have our own timing where we're like, you know what?
Yeah.
25, I'll write the book.
Yes.
Like 26, I'll do this. Like, and like, you just never know. And like, I feel like now was the time for me to go ahead and do it. Got something like, this is the time. Now is the time. And I'm just like, okay. But hey, I did it, and now we're here. Now we're here.
Michaelia, on your journey of telling your story, were there ever any moments where reliving some things, it kind of stumped you and made you not sure if you wanted to share that with the world? How did you get over that hurdle of being able to share those stories that may have been traumatic to relive?
It was definitely that. I had definitely moments where I had to relive some things, especially like I said, I had been working on the book prior to me getting into the competition, but I just having to go back and reread what I had originally wrote, and also changing what I had to originally wrote. And like going through it, it's like a band, like you ripping a band-aid off a wound, because everything, you just patching yourself up. But it's like, when you go back and relive it, it's like ripping off that band-aid all over again. So it definitely was hard. And especially when my most recent one I was talking about, when I've experienced being assaulted and having to go through that process and having to talk about like what I went through at that time and what I was experiencing, that was the definitely hardest part, because like, I don't know if I want to be open about that. I don't know if I want to let people know about that. But I was like, but Michaelia, you survived. You're not a victim. You're a victor. You survived it. You got through it. And look at you now. I said, this is what somebody needs to hear, that they can make it through. Because being real, being honest, it wasn't always like looking like I didn't even know if I was going to make it out. Because like I said, just like the mental part of the aspect was like, mentally, I was so shut down. I was so disconnected from the world. I was so disconnected from God. I was just like literally going off what can numb my pain, what could like, it was like a temporary fix. But what helped me got through those moments was like looking at the good at it and looking how God showed me through it, how he kept me through it. Even though, yeah, I went through it, he still kept me. I just think about Job, how what everything Job went through, and
Mm.
how even though Job lost everything, he said, even though they say me, yet will I trust him. So it doesn't matter what I was going through. I still had the faith in God to know he was still able to get me through. So trusting in God and like really leaning on him, because like those moments ripping off that band-aid, having to relive it and feeling those feelings all over again, it was definitely not easy. It was definitely like hard for me to like sit there. I was like, I can't believe I went through that. I can't believe I really like stayed through that. But it's just like, but I did and I overcame. That's literally how I had to look at it. I did it, I overcame it. I did, I overcame that. You know what? That's yep, that happened, but I overcame it. That literally had to become my mindset. And that was getting me through those rough times. And like sometimes I would like pause on writing. I was like, this is just too much. And I was like, know what? Push through, get it out, because when you get it out, now you don't have, you could go, you still have to go back through it and reread it, of course, but when you get it out, it's out. You can deal with everything once it's out. So I had to push myself through it, even though I was like, I didn't, part of me was like, stop, just stop right here. I was like, no, I'm stronger than what I think. I'm stronger than this. I can definitely go through it. But definitely just trusting and relying on God, and definitely like looking at like, okay, I did it, but I overcame it. That became like my help to get me through those tough times.
And now that you are so close to having your book on the shelves and everybody's going to get a chance to read this story, how do you feel after now you've got your finished product getting ready to come out? What's the feeling versus the beginning versus now for you?
It has not hit me yet. It has not hit me yet. And I hear people introduce me as an author, and then I put that on my title, author Michaelia, and it's just, it hasn't hit me. In the beginning, it still feels like a shock. It just feels like yesterday I just won the competition. It
Mm.
literally just feels like yesterday. I was like, I was just pitching this. And to this day, I still have my pitch. Like I have my pitch tacked up.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a memorable moment, and like
Yes.
it's a major accomplishment to be 20, to just be 23 years old and have a book coming out, and like just doing the stuff that I'm doing is just like, it's just, it blows my mind. I never thought at this age I'll be having all this accomplishments, doing all these different things going on. I just never thought. Now that the book literally is like a month, 2 months away from
Yes.
being here, it's just like I feel like it's not going to hit me until like I have the book in my hand and I
Yeah.
see my name printed on a book, and I
Yeah.
see people like telling me I read your book. Like I feel like that's when it's really like, I'm really an author now. Like
Yes.
I'm really out here. I got a whole book out. Like not
Yes.
a have, but like I really got I have a real book on the shelf. Like it's just, it hasn't hit me, but I'm enjoying the process. I have, through all the hurdles, through all the ups and downs, I have enjoyed being an author, and just getting to know other authors and hearing their journeys and hearing their stories. It has been an amazing journey. I could not thank God enough for this an opportunity, for blessing me to get to this far, to get to this point. But it's just like, it has not hit me yet. And I'm like, your book is literally gonna be here in like a whole other month. I
Yeah.
count November, so it makes it 2 months. I said, but my like, if you don't count November, literally in a whole month, your book will be in your hand. And then like when I say what I have all these different, like I have different tours and interviews and things I want to do, it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
this is really happening. Like this is really my life right
Yeah.
now. It's just like I'm like, it feels like I'm living a dream, but I'm living
Mm-hmm.
my dream. So it's just like, I'm just like, one day I'm gonna wake up and no, this is just gonna be a dream, but it's just like, girl, this is
Like, no,
reality.
like this is really happening.
This is really happening. It was
Yes.
just, it's been like that literally every day. I'm just like, and I see author in my profile. I see people referring me as an author, and I'm just like, are y'all sure y'all talking about me? Like, are y'all sure? Because it's just like it hasn't hit me. And I'm just like, I don't know when, but it's gonna hit me one day. It's gonna hit me, but it just ain't hit me yet.
Now, Michaela, a lot of people don't know that me and you did not know each other, right?
We did not.
Before we entered this pitch competition together, we just showed up. Now,
Mm-hmm.
explain to the people how me and you kind of were building a sisterhood through this process, how we ended up becoming so close and kind of being each other's encouragement to keep pushing through this purpose for us to get our books out because we both had experienced trauma in different forms and pain that we both were trying to heal from at the time.
Me and Miss Anita, y'all, what I tell y'all, we briefly just met. We briefly just met in person for the first time. And it was just like you would have think we've been knowing each other for 20 years. It literally
Yes.
it was the first day we ever met. Literally, I kid y'all not, y'all. Recently we had a fashion show. Yeah, Miss Crystal Robertson, she did a fashion show, and Miss Anita was a model, and I came, and it was such a beautiful experience. I enjoyed myself to the fullest at the event. It was so beautiful, but literally, when I was coming up the sidewalk because I didn't know which way to go in. I was coming up the sidewalk, and I was talking to somebody on the phone, and I walked up, and I was just like, "Can we go in through here?" And Miss turned around, was just like, yeah, and then she stopped and she looked and she's like, Michaelia! Like, hey, girl! Literally, the person I was on the phone was like, are you okay? Because the way we hollered, I said, oh, I'm fine. Let the car get back. But literally, meeting her it was no different because literally we have been, like I said, we didn't know each other coming into this competition. And like even like we didn't really start talking until like I think after the first consultation we had.
Yeah.
That's when we exchanged numbers and started talking. But literally just being in support, that's what you need. Because this process is not easy because you doubt yourself, especially when you want to do more than what you're seeing. You feel like I'm not doing as much. I'm not putting in enough work. But having somebody that's going through the same thing as you and that's understanding that, hey, this is a process, and I feel where I see where you're coming from because I understand because I'm going through it too. Like it's important to have that encouragement. Like, and especially with author, not everybody's gonna like be on board with you telling your story and telling and being so vulnerable in a book. Not a lot of people's going to be supportive of that, and I'm just being honest. Not a lot of people are supportive, but having somebody that is in the same boat as you, that's experienced some of the same stuff, but maybe to that extent, but has experienced what you've experienced, and you guys are both healing. It is the most beautiful thing to have because, like I said, you can always call on them. You can always be like, hey, today I just don't feel like writing. I just don't feel like I'm had a block, and you have that encouragement. It's like, you know what, hey, push through, take you some time out because it's important to have a time out from writing.
Yes.
You got to have a break. Don't take like a whole month off now because then what's going on? But
like, still get the book out now.
Yes.
Look, just take your break because we was on the phone with each other like, listen, we got this. Look, we gonna do this and take a moment, then we gonna get back on it.
Yes, literally, that was us. Hey, author, how you doing? Hey, author, how you doing? Like. Because, like, you want to be an encouragement. It's important to have an encouragement. I cannot stress that enough because literally, like, Miss Anita has really been, like, a good support in my life. Has really, like, I'm just saying, like, you have really been a good support to me, like, pushing me and encouraging me, like, hey, take your break, but get back on it.
Yes.
Take your break. Literally, like, we
got book tours, Michaela. We got things
to do.
Okay.
We trying to get out here. Like, literally, that's literally how she was, bitch. She was like, hey, we got stuff to do. We got people to meet. We got awards to win. We got to get this going. I said, hey, I'm with it. We speaking it. We claiming it and we receiving it. So literally, that's how it's been. But it's been such a beautiful journey having her as a sister, building a sisterhood, and also just collaborating with other people that is in the same boat as us and building that sisterhood. It has been such an amazing process because you know you're not alone. And that's one thing the enemy tries to play in your mind to make you feel like you're alone. Nobody else is going through this but you. But the devil is, like I'm going to say, Miss Kennedy, the entire lie. He's an entire lie. He is an entire life because you're not alone. And going through in a process like this, you definitely need a good support system. Somebody to call on, get you a prayer through. Like, hey, hey, I'm in a dark
Yes.
place right now. I need you to pray me through this
Yes.
so I can get back on this book because I got something to write. But
Yes.
like, it's just been such a beautiful thing. I cannot like. You see how we cackle it now? It's literally
Yes.
we are like. She has a great ball of energy. She is a great
Yes.
person. I have enjoyed getting to know Miss Anita because we have been. It's literally been amazing.
Because people don't understand, Michaela. They like, man, like y'all got these books. We doing promo. They see the
Yes,
promo. They don't understand. Listen, we done had some days. We
yes.
done been on the phone with each other, like, ooh wee.
Like listen. And then we be out here promoting. And it's
Yes.
just like we share each other's stuff. So we just, hey, come on now. We out here, we doing big things.
Yes.
You want to get on this train now? Like it's been like people don't understand, but it's like we're passionate. It's like, and the thing is passion, and we're passionate about what we've been through.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing what we've been through. A lot of people have not made it out or still going
Yes.
through it. And just we're being the voice for them. And
Yes.
that's all it's about. Like I said, just being a vessel, being used by God, letting his light shine through you, and letting people see that there is a God, that God is able to keep you and bring you out. This is just a temporary thing. There is another side to this. But it's just like that's what it has been. It's like we're passionate about what we do. We love what we do. And that's one thing about it. We both love being an author. We both love being hosts. We both love talking to people. And that's has been the better part of it, having somebody that's in the same field as you, that has the same passion as you. It's just like, okay, we're building together. Even though we have our own individual projects, we're
Yeah.
building together because we're doing this for the whole women, that we're standing up for every woman that's been abused, that's went through trauma, that's
Yeah.
experienced pain, that's still fighting it, that we are being the voice for them, letting them know we went through it and we got through it and you can do it too.
Yes. Now, Michaela, for people who want to pre-order your book before it comes out, where can they do that at? How can they make contact to purchase your book? And if you want to tell us a little bit about your book and the reason why people should definitely go and read your story and what the purpose was that you use as far as to help people.
So if you want to pre-order my book, is open for pre-sale. You can DM me at on Instagram at the real Michaela. That's TheRealMichaelia with two A's at the end. You can do the same on TikTok. On Facebook, you can follow me at Michaela Nobles and just shoot me a message. I definitely have on my Instagram. I definitely have a link tree. On Linktree, it does have the form that takes you straight to it, and on there it does give you the payment option that you can definitely click on the QR code and pay it through there. Or if you don't know how to do that, you can easily just send me a message and I will send you the link through your via email or via through the message. But that's the way you can pre-order if you want to pre-order the book. The reason why I feel like people need to read this book is because it's not just a personal narrative. It's not just about what I've went through. I really want people to understand that pain can write your future. People say it can't, it can. I lived it. Being like growing through a child, I experienced pain at a very young age. And from there, it just grew up into that. And then because I was following the same cycle, people need to understand generational curses are real. This stuff is real. This stuff is not for pretend. This stuff is not for play. This is real. This is your life. And at the end of the day, I tell everybody, I say, your soul got to spend eternity somewhere. You ain't gonna just die. It's just gonna be pitch black dark. You going somewhere. You going up or you going down. You're going somewhere. When you think about this is your life, you should want. I want it better for my life. And because I went through so much pain. I mean, so much, and my pain turned to trauma just at the age of 12. My pain took to trauma. And because I was living out of that, operating out of that, living out of a why me mentality, it continued to write my future. I was operating out of my hurt when it came down to dealing with relationships, not just with men, but with people too. It affected how I treated people. It affected how I looked at myself. It affected how I looked at God, just because I was operating out of what was happening to me, not looking at the bigger picture. But I was just looking like this moment, this now, I'm going through this, and I can't, nobody's telling me why I'm going through it, and or nobody want to tell me why I'm going through it. So because I'm going through this, I'm going to continue to do what I feel like is best for me, which was causing more hurt and more damage to me. And because of that, it transits from childhood to teenage to adulthood. And when you are a grown adult, and see, one thing about me, I talk about in my book, even though me and my mom, we left the situation and we got out, my mind, I was physically free, but my mind was still back in, like if I was living with my abuser, if I was living with my father. And it was just like, that was the hardest thing. People didn't understand it. I said, your mind has to be free. I think about how in the word Paul tells us we have to be renewed in our minds. It's the important thing. My mind wasn't renewed. I was free, but my mind was still bound. And because my mind was still bound, I was still operating like I was back in the same situation I was, and that wasn't the case. And that still led me to do more harm than good to myself. It took me hitting rock bottom for me to understand that there's a better way. I got to do better. I have to change. The change needs, and it starts with me. People need to understand with reading my book that your pain can write your future. If you let it, it doesn't have to, but if you let your pain and your trauma write it, it will write it for you. And you will be going down further down in life, getting up in age, now just seeing, man, I really should have made a change. When really the change starts with you. It's never too late to make a change. It's never too late. I was like in my 20s when I really got serious about changing my life. And mind you, I had been in church and everything throughout my entire life. I was in my 20s when I got serious. And like I said, it's never too late. As long as there's breath in your body and you wake up each and every day, it's never too late for you to make a change. And that's one thing I point out in my book. And my biggest purpose is like for people to understand, like there is a God and God is real and he's able. He's always there. He said he will never leave us nor forsake us. So he's always there with you. It's just like you have to be willing to give it to him. And that's
Yes.
talk about you. I was not trying to give it to him, and I'm being 100% real. I was not trying to give it to God because I was like, God, you can't even answer me why you let me go through this. So
Mm-hmm.
if you gonna let me go through this, then why should I serve you? But that was the enemy playing with my mind, not seeing that God had a bigger picture. And like I said, Romans 8:28, for all things work together for the good, those who love the Lord, who those who are called according to his purpose. Everything that we go through works a good in the end of it. It may not seem like it, but there's a good to it. But see,
Author Michaelia, can you repeat that verse one more time for the people in the back? Mm.
Romans 8:28, for all, matter of fact, since we go in here, I got the word
Come
right here.
on now.
I got the Bible right here. We can go ahead and bring it out. Let me go ahead and read it to you. Like I said, that's my stand on scripture. That's one thing I stand on. I live by. That's one thing because, like I said, and that's one thing the Lord was playing in my mind over and over. But yes, Romans 8:28
Mm.
reads, and we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Everything you go through
Amen.
has a purpose. You may not understand it at that moment, and sometimes God is not going to let you understand it, but you're going to see it when you make it through the other side and you see the whole picture. That was me. I was one person, like I said, I was not trying to give it to God. And that's one thing I definitely bring out in my book. And I definitely talk about a deep, I'm going to give y'all a little teaser for one of the chapters I talk about. I was talking about how when I was going through my therapy journey and everything, and I was reflecting, I said that I was mad at God because of what I had went through, especially with my assault.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, that was the most traumatic thing I've ever dealt with. That hurt on top of what I already had went through. That was the icing on the cake for me because I was like, I've never experienced something like that before. And because it shook me up so bad and I had to like literally relearn everything all over again, I was just like, I was mad at God. I was like, God, why did you let me go through this? It's like, you could have easily stopped it before I even got to that point. So I was mad at God and I wanted to get even with him. But trying to get even with God, you're not going to win. You're not going to win that battle. And even with me trying to do that, I talk about it in my book. I said, with me trying to get even with God, it was like God was not doing that at all. And because his grace and his mercy that he expressed towards me, he still allowed me to come to him and come back to him and repent. And also just show me love that I have never experienced before. And that love, his agape love, that is a
Mm-hmm.
whole different. That's that love. You can't beat that. No
Yes.
height, no depth, no. You can't even search how his love is for you. So literally, in that one chapter, I talk about how I was trying to get even with him, and by me getting even was me rebelling, me being disobedient, me telling like, no, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and because, like I said, more harm than good. That
Mm-hmm.
was going to myself. In that chapter, and I focus in on how through that rock bottom moment, God got my attention, and I came back to Him, running at this point, because I was just like, ain't no, there's no way I'm gonna be able to make it out here. And then
Mm-hmm.
it just reminds me of Peter, when Peter was walking on water to Jesus, and he took his eyes off of him, and he started to drown, and how he cried out, and Jesus came and saved him. I put that in me. I said, you know what? I took my eyes off of you, and I started to sink. But
Mm-hmm.
when you think it's over, it ain't over. When you call out to him, he coming. He coming. In that moment, that's the whole purpose of the book. Just knowing that God can take you through your darkest moments, and
Mm-hmm.
He will shine the light on you so bright that when men see you, they can't help but to thank God for you.
Mm-hmm.
The whole purpose of the book, for people to see that, yes, pain may have raised me, but it was my trauma that truly forced me to heal.
Okay, okay, author Michaela. I love that. I love that. Now, I hear that you have exclusive content now that you have started to put on your own on a site that you are using. Would you like to tell the viewers about that and how they can get exclusive content from you and where to go for that?
Yeah, so anybody know I have a it's Patron page. And you can look me up at the Real Michaela all together, the same way you will find me on Instagram. On there, I post like exclusive content. Like I said, a trailer, like a snippet of my chapter is gonna be getting ready to get posted on there. I'm doing like mini vlogs that I do in between, like what it's like being a 23-year-old first time author. Like, what's the process looking like for me? What am I doing on a daily basis? Like all that exclusive content you definitely want to see. Now, for right now, it's a free promotion. So when you join now, you don't have to pay anything. But there is a $10 monthly subscription if you want to continue to see the content and get up to date stuff. And then you can also see behind the scenes, like what am I doing to get ready for an event? What am I doing? Like, you get to see all that my Instagram will not, and TikTok and Facebook will not get to see. You will get to see exclusive behind the scenes. And also I have a chat where you can easily chat me and give me all your questions, or just ask me anything you want to ask. You have the chat option. But that's on Betraying. Oh, I keep saying Betraying. Betron at Double Michaela, all lowercase, all together. And join now for free, because everybody loves free things. You can join now for free, and then after you join, it's gonna come into a $10 monthly subscription.
Now, Michaela, if there are any words that you can leave the viewers with before we get ready to end our show, what would you leave the viewers with? What would be some of your last words that you would say to encourage, or that you want to let them know more about your book or things like that? What would be your last words before we end the show?
My last words would be is, like I said, I'm gonna take the last part of my book and I would tell y'all, like I said, your pain may have raised you, but it's trauma that truly heals you. Because when you it's something different when you experience trauma. And don't let the trauma continue to keep you in a victim mindset. Don't let the trauma or the pain keep you bound up, because there is freedom. There's freedom in Christ. And who the Son sets free is free indeed. There is no condemnation. And when you accept Christ, there is literally everything you did, everything that is washed away. You are a whole new person. You have a whole new identity. So when you think about it, don't let your pain hold you back, and don't let your trauma hold you back. Yes, when you go through trauma will forces you to heal, because trauma makes some lights come on in your head and make you be like, oh. And when you see yourself going through the same cycles, repeating the same mistakes, and you still like, I'm operating in my trauma, that's when it makes you be like, you know what, something got to be different, something got to change. Your trauma will force it what pushes you to that point. For me, it looks different for everybody. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, my trauma forced me to get to that point. And like I said, it took me rock bottom. And rock bottom, it's nowhere to go anywhere but up when you hit rock bottom.
Yes.
So when you think about it, don't allow your pain and trauma to take you rock bottom. If you can get a grip, get a jump on it, and be in the beginning, do that. And also, do not be afraid to be open about your journey. Do not be afraid to be vocal and have them conversations with those people. And most important, set boundaries. set
Yes.
set your boundaries and take the time out and do some self-love. To get that and enjoy your process of healing. Enjoy every moment.
Yes.
Don't rush it. Healing is not an overnight process. I definitely had to learn that in the beginning stage, because I thought I was like, oh, I'm healed, but no.
Yes.
You gotta. It's an overnight, step by step, day by day process. Enjoy the healing journey. Enjoy it, because it's so much you learn about yourself. You learn so much
Yes.
about yourself all over again, and enjoy doing that. Take yourself out. Do not be afraid to go to the movies by yourself. Do not be afraid to go to the arcade by yourself. Do not be afraid to go to a restaurant by yourself, because at the end of the day, you got to do it first before you expect somebody else to do it.
Yes, I have enjoyed having you on, author Michaelia Nobles. I look forward to reading your book, and I want everybody else to go out and support her book. Just the fact that we are going to be authors at the same time and we have built
Yes.
this great sisterhood.
Yeah.
I love you for real, and I know that
Love
we
you
are going to do
too.
amazing things. I'm so proud of you. The
Thank you.
way that you have been able to project your story and talk about it and encourage others. That is something that is so dynamic that I think a lot of people, they lose sight of how much courage it takes when we experience trauma and pain,
Yeah.
and we're able to talk about that to help others. So I applaud you on this journey that you have been on as becoming an author, and I am so proud of you, and I cannot wait to read your book. I'm
Thank
excited.
you.
uh, we both became, we both decided to buy each other's book in
Yes.
pre-order, and I think that was just something so amazing in itself. And I
Yes.
know that your story is truly going to help others heal. It's going to be very dynamic. Thank you for being on this
Thank
show,
you.
Michaelia.
Thank you for
And
having me. I have enjoyed every moment of it. It has been such a beautiful time with you. I love you for real. Like
yeah,
another sister I ain't never had. But
yeah.
thank you for having me on the show. It has been just an amazing time.
And thank you all for who have viewed the show. Thank you guys. Stay tuned. Next week, we are going to have a whole new episode. But you guys make sure you go out and you purchase author Michaelia Noble's book, and you stay tuned. You follow her on all her social media. You keep up with what she has going on. The book will be out in less than 2 months, and it's truly a dynamic story for you to read. It's going to help a lot of people heal. Thank you guys for tuning in to Life with Anita. Everybody have a great evening.
Listen, girl, I like the little song you got.
Yes. Yes, this song is I Love Me Better Than That. And I listened to this song for 60 days when I was in a shelter and I had became homeless because of my abuser. And I played this song every day to get me back up, to get me back in my motion, to get me back to my place of happiness and peace. And I would play this song every single day. And I was like, well, I'm doing an interview with you. And I was like, both of our books are about pain and trauma. And I was like, let me go ahead. And I was like, I got the perfect song. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, this song got me through.
Yes.
Yes.
I love me better than that. Yes.
Yes. So thank you guys for tuning into the show, and we will see you next week. See you later, author Michaelia
See
Nobles.
you
Thank you for being
later.
on the show again.
Thank you for
Bye.
having me. Bye.